All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, YAHAWAHSHI'S, by Hashem, Rakah, Quadash, double honors to apostles of GMS, and sincere Shalom to the brothers out there pushing this truth and sincerity. And I have, well, the only reason I have this pause is because they wasn't really showing much. They were just showing like different pictures of what's going on. Because as you see in the title, it says Putin openly threatens Israel after U.S. warns Hezbollah, Russia to enter Middle East battlefield because Israel launched some missiles on a port of Syria. So they starting to kick things off from there, and we. It is funny because just last week or just this Saturday, I think, um, Trump got shot through the ear or something, and all these things that's happening is starting to really unfold with a lot of things that's really going on, and it's no rest whatsoever. So you're just hearing event after event, back to back, left and right, right, and then and it's also funny because the apostles, specifically Apostle Tatar, um, brought up a topic about a movie that's coming out, um, deal with Rome. I forgot the name of it already, but about basically Jake ruling over being Roman emperors, right? So we're seeing a lot of details or a lot of information even coming out from the past, even up to now, uh, with all these things happening, because the Lord's showing Esau's power dwindling and waking us up even further throughout all these things that's happening. So it's a beautiful thing that these things are happening because a lot of this stuff is no longer being hidden, especially when you have Russia that's showing the quote unquote black images or icons showing who we are. So we're seeing everything that Esau folded up is being unfolded. A lot of his work is being undone, even though he's trying to get rid of this waste because it's no good to him now, so he can make the new America. But the fact is, his power is still draining regardless. The Lord's the one who gave him that power, anyways. So we're seeing the end of this place, regardless, and the end of Esau's reign. So I'm gonna make this quick. This is Matthew 24:6. It says, "And ye shall hear wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." And see, I know I like bringing this out a lot, but for good measure, because you're hearing more about these conflicts that's happening, just like the past world wars. There was a lot of conflicts with them. They started even showing more war movies back then, as far as even, a lot of elders told me, even my father, going basically explaining some certain things that was happening back then, right? So it's just repeating, and this is going to be the worst one of all, especially since there's more riots, more the value of the dollar is really no good no more, especially since you having a lot of these other nations back out of it, and they're making their own currencies. So we're seeing this filthy place for what it really truly is. Even its own people can't really shield their eyes from it, because as messed up as they are, they starting to see it. They just continue to follow along with the wickedness because Stockholm syndrome. That's why this place needs to be destroyed so we can be cleansed of this madness, right? But as we read, as I read, it says, "For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." Why does it say that? Because while these things are happening, there's still other things that need to happen as well. And the Lord's showing us through these movies about what's going on with the past to show you, yeah, we done more things than just be slaves or before the 1500s. I mean, I'm sorry, or during the 1500s, this and that, blacks and wax museums. The Lord's showing more and from that's happening now and back then. So that's why the end is not yet, because these things must unravel, right? It's like cracking. You think you crack a code, but then you find more of a code that you gotta crack, or then you find more of a puzzle further into a puzzle. So it's one of those type of things. You haven't finished yet, especially since nothing's finished until the Lord comes back and ultimately gets us, right? So we're constantly watching for all these things that's happening. Meanwhile, these people are left in the dark, specifically here, because they don't know what to do. They don't have nothing to fall back on, and that's what terrifies these people. That's why these people go into a frenzy, start going into riots, because they know they can't. They don't have no backups. Just like these other countries, they have a backup plan. What happens when the same thing happens with them? Right? See, this place is nothing but disorder. So with disorder, you have nothing but all out chaos. So this is Deuteronomy 32:7. It says, "Remember the days of old, consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he shall shew thee, thy elders, and they will tell thee." And this is what we're seeing now, because a lot of our past is being unfolded, especially when we go back into searching into history. We find out this is nothing new. That whatever happens in the past happens today. It says, when the Most High divided the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. For the Lord's portion is his people, Jacob and his lot of the inheritance. Right? So it says he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. So when you look to that word bounds, it says, of course, from the 1590s, they go talking about to leap, spring upward, jump, which makes sense, because we always, the Lord's always set us up high after we get out of sleep, right? But when you go to, it says originally make a noise, sound, a horn, beat, or drum, to ultimately to echo back. But when it says horn, it makes sense, because we also sound a horn, a horn of war, or to really signify our presence, right? Because that's the main thing about the horn. We, especially where you go to other kingdoms, they'll use a horn or a banner through war, or to signify that this is their land or their presence. No different from us. They only got it from us, technically. Right? So that's why what we used in the Passover. And it says, when you go down further, it says, I'm looking for the word, give me a second. Compelled, under obligation. Give me a second. It's like it. It was basically for us here. It says bind or under obligation. So when you go back, a second, there you go. So when you go back, it says he set the people under obligation according to the number of the children of Israel, and we all had that obligation to the Heavenly Father, especially when He's promised the covenant's been promised to us, right? Everything's been promised to us. It's a as it said there, it's a bond, like a contract. It's a binding contract. That's why there's going to be a new covenant when the Lord comes back and to establish the kingdom of heaven. So all these things play out for a reason. It's the Lord's script. We're just sending out the message. Or the Lord gives us the spirit to send out the message, I should say. All right? So this is Revelations 18:3. It says, "For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication," meaning all these nations. That's why they all had their dealings with it. They made profit off of it. Trade, import, export, and now they don't want nothing to do with it. But they were trying to be the next America, specifically China. It says, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies, which again goes back to import, export, the value of the dollar, at least back then, but now it's dwindling, right? All these nations made a killing off this place, even to the point that this place is giving away stores to other countries, right? It says, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye perceive not of her plagues. And that's talking about the hopeful elect. Because we don't want to be like these people out here that's confused, or I'm sorry, like being transformers, or these alphabet groups, or just like these regular, just even just a regular Jake out here just smoking weed and all this other stuff, had nothing to really live for. We don't want those plays. We want something to live for, or something to fight for, I should say, which is salvation. Right? That's the main thing we want. We don't want these plagues. Right? So I'm going to skip to, I'm going to jump down to 8. It says, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death, and mourning, and famine, and she shall be utterly burnt with fire. For strong is the Lord Yahweh who judgeth her. So all these things that's happening, and the things that's in that, and the things that's going to happen soon, further on, it's going to be racked up with the greatest destruction this world will ever see. Esau think these missiles, he's creating these missiles, or these other nations think they create missiles, making the mother of all bombs, the father of all bombs. That's all the Lord's work, and he's going to use all of it for here. And once this place falls, the other nations fall like dominoes too, because they have also received their plagues of this place. All right, so that's pretty much all I wanted to go into. So, Lord willing, this is a little edifying with that. Shalom.